Hi, I'm Tammy Lynn, and today I will be teaching you how to sketch the four basic shapes of art. Have you ever thought of making things stand out from your paper without cutting and gluing and all these complicated steps? Have you ever thought of adding a bit of this and that with your pencil and turning a boring square into a beautiful cube with a faint shadow? Well, maybe you can learn some things from this video. The materials you will need are 2 or 3 6B pencils. They don't have to be 6B, but it would be better because it would be darker and easier to shade. You'll also need an eraser and sketchbook paper. So first of all, we'll learn how to sketch a cube. The first step is to make 3 parallel lines. Don't make them too dark because we don't want the outline of the shape to be too obvious. You can make it a bit longer so that it's easier to adjust the length by eraser later on. Then we connect each line by making perpendicular lines across the 3 lines. And now we have the outline of a cube. You would only see these 3 sides of the cube though. Now we choose which side you want the light to come on. Let's say the right side of the paper. Then we would make this side the brightest side because it's facing the light source. This side right next to the bright side would be the darkest because it's facing away from the light, so we'd shade it in a darker color. Now the top side of the cube has a shade between the 2 sides that we just colored in because the light is going over it, not directly at it, but not blocked away either. Now while you're shading, we still have to make slight changes within a side. The parts closer to the light source should still be a bit brighter than the parts far from it. And now you'll have your cube. Next, we'll learn how to sketch a cylinder. A cylinder is quite different from a cube because of the round surface of its side. But we'll do the same first step by drawing 2 parallel lines. Again, don't make the outline too dark. Now comes the tricky part. Make an oval at the top part that connects the 2 parallel lines. Be sure not to make a circle because the surface of a cylinder should be flat, and an oval would be much more appealing. Then on the bottom part, make half an oval that connects the lines together. The shading is the trickiest part of the cylinder. Again, let's suppose the light source comes from the right side of the paper, but it could be from anywhere. Now since the side of the cylinder is a round surface, we can't make the 2 shades, bright and dark, completely different or separated from each other, unlike the cube. We could start from the darker left side, and notice how I'm pressing my pencil down on its side to get a dark shade. Now as I shift my pencil slightly to the right, I want to put less pressure on my pencil so that it would gradually make a lighter shade. Now after you complete this process, you'd want to smooth the uneven parts of the shading by adding a bit more in on your pencil or rubbing some off from your eraser. And now you have your cylinder. Next, we'll learn how to sketch a cone. The sketching skills used for the cone is somewhat similar to the cylinder, but first we'll do its unique outline. Draw 2 lines, kind of like the top of a triangle. It could be acute or obtuse, it doesn't really matter. Connect the separating ends of the 2 lines with a curved line. It will be easier if you draw a faint oval that seems like the bottom surface of the cone and then erase the inner sides to make a more accurate curve. The difficult part of the cone would be the shading. Just like the cylinder, we are making one side bright and one side dark and gradually changing the intensity of the shade as we shift the pencil. However, since it's a cone, the top part is small and sharp and the bottom part is wide. You have to be really careful as you shade because you want to have a bright side and a dark side on every part of the cone and you must make it even. Now you'll have your cone. Last but not least, we'll learn how to sketch a sphere. The outline is quite simple, you just draw a circle. But if you're a perfectionist and take it more seriously, it would be quite difficult to make a perfect circle. The shading part of the sphere is the most difficult one of all 4 shapes, but don't lose hope. We've already gone through 3. I always say that there's a sun and a moon in the sphere. The sun is the brightest point of the sphere, so let's pretend that it's the right top corner. And in this case, the moon, which is the dark side, would be its bottom left side. I call it a moon because you have to make the dark shade a curved shape because of the sphere's round surface. To be more specific, the light source is hitting on the sun side of the sphere and gliding over its surface, so the dark side would seem curved. Now all you have to do is, again, to add more pressure when you are shifting your pencil across from the sun to the moon, and there you'll have your sphere. You now have the 4 basic shapes of art in your sketchbook. Be free and do some doodling when you feel like it, and maybe someday you'll be a great artist. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed this video.